Hello, this is Dan Grigore, and I want to welcome you to my banking application Capstone presentation. For the Capstone project, I have worked on a banking application which is named MERN Bank. In part 1, I will be presenting you the front-end architecture, authentication methods used, and the application diagram. First, this is a simplified overall application overview with the MERN technologies I have been using for this project. React for frontend, Node.js, Express, Axios, and Mongoose for backend, and MongoDB as a database tier. The relationship between the front end and the backend is done through API requests, posts, and gets, while the connection between the backend and the database tier is maintained through the Mongoose and Axios API. The interconnectivity between the three layers ensures the functionality of the application: user identification and authorization, account maintenance, such as deposits, withdrawals, balance updates, and transaction history retrieval. We will pass now to the front-end architecture. As you can see on the screen, the code for this is contained in a front-end folder with a rather complex architecture. The public subfolder contains the static elements, while the src one renders the app from the index.js file. This is the folder which contains the main functionality of a front-end: control of state, the main components such as accounts, balance, data display, navbar, card definition, also token management and verification. Finally, CSS folder, which contains the bootstrap CSS file reference. The services subfolder contains the Axios functionality for authentication and API nodes towards the front end. Server.js file contains the functionality of the Express server. As you can see here in the home page, we have a navigation element on top, the body which is returning the card component depending on routing, and the footer element at the bottom. This is a general diagram of a front-end web app. As you can see, routing, navbar, and the card component are the main elements. Authorization and authentication are done by using two services, auth and user. In regard to design decisions, I consider the following: routing, rendering the components wrapped around them based on the route tag; context, with a shared context by using the hooks useState, useEffect, and useContext; parent to child refactoring code by removing this keyword from props. In regard to forms, I am using two forms, one for creation of an account, the second for balance updates for the deposit and the withdraw details. For styles, I have been using bootstrap, also font awesome. For components, I've been having different components with individual files for each of them, such as a home, create account, login, deposit, withdraw, balance, all data, which is for employees, about, contact, and location. For state is handled in actions based on authentication. For events, I've been using on-click events, which trigger events when clicking on a button in the account form, for example, or in the navigation bar. Authentication was developed using two methods: user password method, hiding buttons or links if a user is logged in or not, for example, using bcrypt package to encrypt password in the database. Used also to verify the right token, that the right token is entered for each login. The second method was a JSON Web Token, used for authorization of users if they have access to specific resources. Challenges were most important: setting up an expiration time, which required practice, but set it up finally for 1 hour. For testing purposes, used 1 minute, and choosing the information needed for the token. But for simplification of a project, I've been using only the user ID.